Said actually it looks better than it usually does.
Now, when you heard about the news, I mean, every day we had the Kroger shooting, because that was going to be Charleston 2.0. The only reason he couldn't kill even more folks, black folks, was he couldn't get into that church. You got the MAGA Bomber, which they turned into a joke. And now you have this massacre today. You know, you study these movements, you study these networks. I know the FBI will do the forensics. Is this just one hell of a coincidence that all this is happening in 1 week?
It's not a coincidence at all. No, we're going to start seeing a lot more of this. It's going to be, I think, a regular trend. And because being encouraged, both the conspiracism and the absolute hatred of the other side that's being whipped up by conservative right. And it's not just Donald Trump. I mean, Trump is obviously the apotheosis of it in many regards. He plays a key role because as the president creates permission for these acts, people follow his example. But, you know, this guy in the synagogue today was all worked up about the caravan, which is stuff that's being whipped up by Fox News and Donald Trump. And so, yeah, Fox News is the other really big element in this. Right-wing media generally, Rush Limbaugh, Michael Savage, and, of course, our friends at InfoWars, who they're beyond right-wing. They're nutcase media. Conspiracism is causing this because these guys has a really powerfully unhinging effect on people.
You already seen this on Twitter. He doesn't like Trump, so therefore Trump has no responsibility. They have every single deflection ready. Well, the MAGA bomber is Filipino. So what? Oh, this guy doesn't like Trump, so Trump's not responsible. I mean, how do we, in a simple way, communicate Trump and the right-wing hate media's responsibility for this?
I think no matter what we do, Chauncey, they're going to deny. That's sort of human nature, frankly. Nobody wants to think they're a bad person. And obviously, condoning this kind of stuff would make you a bad person. They're in absolute denial about the extent to which they have condoned this kind of behavior and created permission for it to occur. I mean, you will get all kinds of contortions to deny the responsibility for this. And yes, in this case, it is true that the guy didn't like Trump, but he was very much inspired by and fueled by things that Donald Trump says, and particularly about immigrants, because he clearly was going after the Jews because he believes the Jews are responsible for these immigrants coming over the border. And this is something that comes out on InfoWars. This is what comes out in all these various forms of media, and particularly white nationalist sources will say this. But that's the problem, is that they will connect what they're saying with what Fox News is saying. And Fox News is busy just drumming up the general fear drumbeat. They don't say Jews are doing this, but this is sort of the nature of the beast, that once they get the fear mongering going, then people from even more extreme points of view will pick up on that and absorb it into their own worldview.
And what's the role of Tucker Carlson in all this? Because calling out one person in particular, because his show literally channels white supremacist talking points every damn week.
If not day. I would say he's the leading component at Fox News of this trend. He's not alone, but clearly Carlson is the leading figure for this. And it's not a coincidence that white nationalists love Tucker. They love him because he says the things that they love to hear about how America is being invaded by brown people, essentially. And that's exactly the kind of stuff that this guy, the shooter in Pittsburgh today, is picking up on. They take this stuff very serious. When they're being told that their country is being invaded by brown people, they get frightened and angry, and they decide to act, and that's what this guy did.
And Trump, I mean, literally he said that brown folk from Latin and South America are vermin. He said this, snakes and infestation. This obsession with this caravan, I mean, again, this is eliminationism 101. This is Nazi-style rhetoric. Mainstream media, yourself excluded myself because we're not part of that club, will tell the truth that this guy's an eliminationist, that for 2 years he's been inspiring hateful violence. But again, they're so afraid to name the thing. And then when it happens, they get on the TV and they act all damn surprised.
Chauncey, I haven't been able to get on TV for the past year. The book's been selling very well on its own, but I haven't been able to get on TV at all because everybody runs away from the fact that I associate Trump with the radical right in my title. Nobody wants to deal with that. Everybody very uncomfortable and the reason it makes them uncomfortable is that they know that me coming out and saying this stuff plainly, and it is frankly as plain as the nose on your face that it's happening, but me saying it plainly brings the flying monkeys from the right. they'll come descending. It makes them very nervous. And people, I mean, I wasn't able to get on NPR, haven't been able to get on any kind of TV show. I almost was on Lemon the other night.
And they had you sitting there like they do, then the Booker producer says, oh, we don't need you. That standard move.
Yeah. And in fact, they used my material from the Twitter thread. They used it in the segment, or didn't cite me or credit me.
And how do we overcome that denial? Because you and I and others have been screaming from the rooftop, because it's not a surprise. I know this may sound callous to some people. I'm just like, whenever they email me, it's like, the man has been telling you what's going to happen. Donald Trump is transparent. This right-wing hate movement he leads, and he is the leader, well, go on their websites. They're celebrating this man. When you got the Kluxers, David Duke, and Nazis,